This is Robert Martellacci, Chief Digital Curator of the Mindshare Learning Report, Canada's Learning and Technology magazine. This podcast is brought to you by 21 Canada, Canadians for 21st Century Learning and Innovation. I'm fortunate to have joined me for a Mindshare Learning moment Sylvia Martinez, who's a fellow Pepperdine University graduate of the Masters in Educational Technology program at beautiful Malibu, California. And she comes to us by California today as well, don't you, Sylvia?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It's sunny warm.
Well, Sylvia also holds a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from UCLA. She's co-authored a bestseller, Meant to Learn, Making, Tinkering, and Engineering in the Classroom. She's also a popular international keynote speaker. We must get you up to Toronto for our EdTech Summit next fall. How's that sound? And workshop leader and consultant. And good afternoon, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join me, Sylvia.
Oh, thank you, Robert. It's been a while. Great to see you.
Absolutely, likewise. So, congratulations on the success of Invent to Learn. What inspired it?
So my co-author Gary Stager and I have been working with educational organizations for decades around the areas of project-based learning, authentic use of technology, and when this maker movement came along, that really made it easier with these amazing materials and tools and technology. We really saw the marriage of the two and wanted to build a bridge between education and the maker movement so that teachers could understand what the potential is for the tools and technology, and also to ground it and to situate it into good educational philosophy. So it's not just new, shiny new things. That's,
right.
It's not just a new thing. It's about real learning.
Now, speaking of makerspaces, how would you define it for someone just getting into the space, if you will? No pun intended.
Well, makerspaces is people have started to call them in schools. It's a combination of a wood shop, a craft studio, an art studio, a STEM lab, a science lab, all of the things that can be integrated with the very powerful tools and technology of the maker movement, but not throwing away the good stuff that works.
Absolutely.
The fun things we have kids do, the stuff that they can really wrap their hands around, wrap their minds around, and it's kind of a new name for an old concept.
Right. And so things do come full circle. I mean, when I look at, Dr. Seymour Pappert's, learning theory, the whole notion around creating and messing about and the constructivism approach to learning, it really, it was banging your head against the wall for a lot of years, and had a vision along with a lot of other innovators like yourself and Dr. Stager, who, it's not new to you. It's just kind of a convergence of, like you said, everything coming together.
Well, I think it's not new to a lot of parents and teachers, too.
Right.
I think everybody has this sense that kids learn best when they're deeply interested and invested in something they care about. And it can take many forms. So it's not just about simply hands-on. We're not talking about
right.
just kids touching things.
Right.
It's about them constructing ideas, sharing them with others. So constructionism can extend to, a robot, sure, but also a poem or a dance or
right.
a sewable technology, a quilt, something that's important to you and can be shared in the community. Because when you share it in the community, you can talk about it, you can think about it, it becomes an object to think with. And, a classroom should be a learning community where your passions are shared.
Absolutely. So the notion of makerspaces and reinventing it, how do you see that rejuvenating K-12? So I sense that you're suggesting it's cross-curricular, it's not just STEM.
Right, absolutely.
Because there is a bit of a misconception, right?
I think there is a misconception that it's all about making circuits or printing 3D objects.
Right.
I also think there's a misconception that it has to be somewhere special. That maker spaces are very, far away, kids are going to go visit them, and then they're going to become makers somehow. I think that's a misconception.
Absolutely. If I could just interject there,
yeah.
I was going to mention that is almost reminiscent of computer labs. You don't want that because we know that doesn't work.
That's the direct analogy that we talk about in the book. Is that
right.
That's not a good, like you say, it's not a happy piece of history. Putting the computer lab far, far away gave permission for the rest of the school not to change.
Right.
So the idea of every classroom being a makerspace, I think, is a very powerful one.
Wow.
I think it's a shortcut, it's a cop-out for schools to say, okay, we built a makerspace, we've done Maker, now we're done. If we're not really reflecting on how that's changing our whole learning environment,
right.
we're not doing a whole job.
So really, you're suggesting that I had a great experience in high school in technical shops before it went into business, and I got to experience building construction, architecture. I think every kid should experience auto mechanics. I mean, everything. Every kid should experience kind of a maker education in some way. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree. I don't think that we should sort kids out into kids who do auto shop and kids who
right.
go to university. I think that's a big mistake. It's not just because the kids who do auto shop are missing out on
right.
opportunity, which they may be.
Sure.
Also, the kids who are going to university need to know that they can do actual things. Universities keep complaining, oh, the kids just know how to take tests. Well, that's a problem we all need to fix. The universities who only depend on test scores and then complain about kids who are good at taking tests.
Right.
That's a disconnect.
Absolutely.
So we all have to work on that issue. But the academics and real science is not about taking tests. Real science is about thinking and working and trying things that don't work and trying again and being resilient and having a crazy idea that
right.
maybe no one else has thought of before. But you want the kids who have those really interesting minds to be scientists instead
right.
of weeding them out because we have these crazy ideas about what mathematicians do or what scientists do.
Absolutely. I was a case in point. I was streamed into shops, and I made a hard right turn and decided, thanks to a teacher who was a great mentor to me, Mr. Everett, who said, the years of your 20s are the years of your should haves and could haves. And I thought, I think I should do this grade 13 thing because I don't want to limit myself. And I must confess, I did get a bit of grease on my painter pants in auto shop that kind of turned me off the tree. That inspired me a little bit too to go into the business side. But I had a blend of both, and I turned out okay. I'd like to think.
I think that when you talk to people, and I've spoken to people
right.
all over the world, and they say similar things. A teacher took an interest in me. A teacher
right.
said something to me, and we have to have empowered teachers who are in charge of their classrooms and their
right.
curriculum, no matter what course it is.
Right.
Because you don't have empowered teachers, you won't have empowered students. And sometimes it's that teacher who has a great idea can look a student in the eye and say, do you have a way of looking at things that's different and interesting?
Sure.
It's so much better than, having a rally about you can be anything or,
right.
It's about this one-to-one relationship. And in all this talking about technology, that's always my point, is that
right.
teacher and student agency are crucial, and the relationship is teaching. Teaching isn't about talking. Teaching
right.
is not about taking tests. It's human relationships.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go away whether you're, making a clay pot or, building a nuclear reactor.
And teachers should know that the good news is that they really, at the end of the day, are irreplaceable. They're not going to be replaced by technology. And I've taken online courses, and the blended ones are better, but the ones that are purely asynchronous are not as near engaging, where you have that human interaction.
People make these oddball arguments. I saw that there's a headline this morning.
Right.
AI robots
plug us in. Hang on.
So I think the idea that, teachers could be replaced by AI or robots or videos is just ridiculous. It's all about relationships. If it weren't, we could go back to the 1920s or 1940s and just plop little babies in libraries and say, "Oh, we're done." No one thinks that because
Right.
it's so not true. But we get all bamboozled by technology, and it's definitely about relationship,
Absolutely.
trust, and agency.
Yeah, and that whole engagement piece and bringing out and helping kids, believe in themselves and discover self-discovery and bring out the fullest potential is really, at the end of the day, what teachers can do for a student, right?
Look, exactly. I mean, I go to a lot of technology conferences, and people say, "Oh, I so agree with you. Technology is so engaging," and I'm like, not really what I just said. But it's not the technology that's engaging.
Yeah.
It's being involved with something that's
Right.
hard to master, and it being important to you and important to your community that matters. You can't do engagement to kids. You can't
Right.
call on engagement. This is something that's an outcome of kids doing meaningful work. And I also, tie it to digital citizenship. We have a very narrow, impoverished definition of digital citizenship. We just tell kids the rules.
Right.
We think, "Oh, well, that's good enough." Citizenship is a two-way street. Citizenship means being a member of a community that values you, and
Right.
that gives you value. And if you don't feel that what you're doing is important, there's not going to be digital citizenship. There's not going to be agency and empowerment.
Right.
And some kids will work very hard at things that don't matter to them. That's compliance.
Right.
That's not what we really care about.
Right.
And look, imagine if all these kids who were just going through the motions were actually working on something they cared about. What an explosion of power and
Absolutely.
intellect we would have.
I agree. So what advice do you offer educators who are kind of, at the cusp of, creating this makerspace? They have a desire to do it. Where would you be besides buying your book?
Well,
It's the first
I
step.
just so happen to have a copy
Oh,
of
fantastic.
We do offer a lot of that kind of advice in the book.
Right.
There's a website called mentalor.com that has articles like getting started with your makerspace. I think probably the best piece of advice I can give to teachers
Right.
is to just do it. Do
Right.
something.
Right.
Don't let the perfect, "I don't have enough money, I don't have the right space,"
Sure.
and then a year goes by, and don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Do something and then do it again. Try it again.
Right.
And that's part of the advice for leaders too, is you've got to be willing to let your teachers try something. This iterative design idea that's good for kids, well, it's not just good for kids, it's good for educational organizations too. If you're gonna, cut people off at the knees if they try something, you're not gonna get innovation.
Absolutely. So speaking of which, we have this annual Classroom of the Future challenge, and we're giving away 3 makerspaces. So I would like to purchase 3 of the books to give to each of the winning schools.
I will give you 3 books to give to the winning school.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, and autographs would be nice too. That would be very cool.
That could happen.
Yes. And
One of the things we're also doing is trying to give voice to other educators who are doing this in their schools. We've published a number of books by educators, like this new one is called Making Science,
Oh,
and
cool.
it's by a science teacher who's doing middle school science in a makerspace science lab. And so, we want people to know it's not just the hand waving and theory. This
right.
is real people are actually doing this, and so can everybody.
And on the website, they can be purchased on your website, which is
Yes. CMK Press, Constructing Modern Knowledge Press, is our publishing website, and cmkpress.com has all of our books. They're available on Amazon.
Fantastic.
They're available to all the wholesalers and retailers and things like that.
awesome. Now, on the speaking front, you travel the world, you and Dr. Steger, and what are you seeing around the world? How are we doing in North America? How are we doing relative to other countries, in Canada, U.S., and Finland, and I know Australia. You spent a bit of time in Australia.
I think a lot of people are, thinking about how to make education more authentic. And no matter
Right.
where they are, if they're in a very test-centric system
Right.
or a more progressive system, everyone can do better. Everyone wants
Right.
to continually improve. So I think that's the big idea of MakerSpaces is it's not about some brand new thing that everyone should drop what they're doing and
Right.
rush off. It's
Sure.
about continuous improvement. It's about thinking about what you're already doing well and building on that. I'm a big believer in this, looking at this from a design perspective. And one of the first questions you ask is, what do you have that's working? So,
Right.
do you have a strong focus on community outreach? Do you have a strong, what do you believe as a school that's already in your culture?
Right.
Because that kind of thing you can build on.
Well, Sylvia, incredible, amazing insights you shared with us today, and we definitely would like to bring you up next fall for a Tech Leadership Summit. So,
Let's make it happen.
yeah, that's
What I
awesome.
did there, the joke, make it happen.
No pun intended. Well, I shouldn't expect anything less from an awesome Pepperdine graduate. That was Sylvia Martinez, author, speaker, and consultant. My name is Robert Marglanchi, the Mindshare Learning Report. And until next time, keep the learning curve steep.